V with 85th and Wade. Thanks for joining me today. Now, in this episode, we're going to go over my rendition of a review or my experience with Sewing Simplicity 1021. Now, this pattern envelope includes a men's nighttime wardrobe. So that means it has a vest, a night shirt, I guess as opposed to a woman's nightgown. It has a top that is both short sleeve and long sleeve, as well as bottoms that include pants and shorts. Now, technically, I made everything in this pattern envelope. However, I didn't make a night shirt and I didn't make shorts. With that being said, a nightgown or a night shirt and the top are essentially the same. It's just the length of the nightgown is different. And the same with the pants and the shorts. I made the pants, but in essence, the steps for the pants and the shorts are the same. So technically I made every piece in this envelope. However, I did do a top instead of a gown and pants instead of shorts. In terms of Simplicity 1021, and I'm going to look at some notes here, the sizing ranges from extra small to extra large. So when we break that down, if we look for the top or the nightshirt, as well as with the robe, the chest measurements for the finished garment measurements include, for the robe, the chest is a 56 inch to a 40 inch. For the tops, that's both just the top as well as the nightshirt, we're seeing 57 inches to 41 inches. For the bottoms, they only give the finished hip measurement, which includes 53 to 37 inches. So a pretty good range in terms of sizing for this pattern. So as far as fabrics, there are quite a few. You can use broadcloth, chambray, cotton types, flannel, seersucker, interlock, and jersey. And that's for pretty much tops and bottoms. With the robes, you could use terry cloth, sweatshirt fleece, terry knit, or velour. So it covers a different range of fabrics and, depending on how cozy, how smart you want it to be, it fits a number of different fabrics for this. So in terms of the amount of fabric that you need, it'll range anywhere from 6 yards of a 45-inch fabric. And that, I believe, was basically if you're doing the long sleeve top and the pants for the pajamas. So if you're doing both of those pieces, all the way down to just 2 1/8 inches yard. And that would basically be if you're only doing an extra small night shirt. So, with the robe, you fall somewhere in between there, usually on the higher end of fabric use. You can do this in both 45-inch as well as 60-inch. As far as interfacing, yes, you will need to interface if you're doing the robe and if you're doing the top. And it's pretty minimal for the tops in that you're only interfacing the facing. So you have a front facing piece that you cut twice and then a back facing piece that you cut on the fold. So you only need 3 of those. The same goes for the robe in terms of number of pattern pieces. So you have 2 front facings and 1 back. However, it goes the full length of the lobe. So there is a lot of interfacing that you will need to do for the robe. Not a lot of pattern pieces, but just in terms of length, there is a lot there. For the number of pattern pieces, so for the robe, you have a total of 8 pattern pieces. For the top, you have a total of 6 pattern pieces. And then for the bottoms, coming in at 4 pattern pieces. You do have an elastic guide. You can or choose not to cut that out, as far as what size you need, or you can just leave it whole and put your elastic on top of that. So that's an optional piece to cut out if you choose to do that. as far as steps to runway ready. So what does it take to get you from cutting out your last piece of interfacing and placing that on the garment until you reach ready to wear? For the robe, there's a total of 18 unique steps. Again, unique steps means they'll show you how to put in one sleeve, but you have to do that again for the other sleeves. For the top, you have 14 steps. And for the bottoms, you have 19 steps. The reason why you have so many for the bottom is because there's an actual fly in the pattern bottoms, and you're including snaps, which is optional. You don't have to use snaps. You don't even have to do the fly if you choose not to, and you can cut down maybe 5 or 6 of those steps. However, in terms of number of steps for the bottoms, it comes in at a whopping 19 steps. Now, did I reorder the steps according to this, how the instructions have them listed? I will say for the first time I did each garment, I did not. So for the robe, I went straight through the instructions along with the tops and the bottoms. Read it and completed it as they were listed in the instructions. Of course, once I was more familiar with how they were doing things, then I went ahead and did my own thing on the second version of each of those. You know, there wasn't anything that was difficult there in terms of, you know, being able to rearrange it or remembering that, oh, I should need to do this before I do that as I'm rearranging things. So it was pretty much a breeze for me to reorganize or reorder those steps. But I did do it first as it was laid out, and then the second time around, my own way. Now, as far as difficulty, overall, I'm going to give this a 2.5 out of 5 difficulty. The only reason is that, one, the top is a V-neck, so that in of itself, you know, just can cause you just a little bit of angst. However, it does have a facing with that. So with that, you know, just a V-neck with facing, although it's pretty simple, once you can finagle where that V stops and how to actually, you know, pivot to make sure your V is crisp, you know, it's smooth sailing from there. And then again with, you know, just the pants has some elastic, so there's a waistband, you insert elastic, nothing terribly, you know, difficult with that either. As far as the robe, I would say that one was probably the second easiest, the pants being the first. If you don't do the option of the fly, the pants or the shorts would be absolutely the easiest to do. Then comes the robe, then comes the top. So overall, if you do it as designed by Simplicity, I give it a 2.5. V-neck, and then you have a fly with snaps. If you decide to eliminate, you know, maybe the fly and the snap, then I would say, you know, maybe a 1.5 out of 5. But a fairly simple, not too difficult pattern to complete. My overall experience, I'm going to give this a definite 5 out of 5. The way they completed the fly with the snaps was something new for me, so that was a new experience for me. Everything else I pretty much have done in the past in some sort or fashion, so there wasn't anything that I was being introduced to, so that's why I give it a 5 out of 5. You know, very quick, and I shouldn't say quick, very easy to put together. It's going to take you some time just because of the amount of fabric that you're using. This baby is hungry. However, like I said, it's a wardrobe, if you would, and so you can have a very full set, whether it's something for a special event like an anniversary or a birthday or a Christmas gift or holiday gift of some sort. You know, you can put together a very nice set for someone. Or if it's just something that you want to quickly replenish, then you can easily just whip up something with that V-neck and the shorts, maybe eliminating the fly, and you know, have that done and completed for them within just, I'd say, 3 to 4 hours as a beginner. That's the sewing portion of it. I don't include cutting because that can take some time, you know, a couple hours in and of itself, but the sewing portion of it, you can do within 3 or 4 hours time as a set. So what did I make? So when I put together these 2 sets, I use fabric from both JoAnn Fabric as well as Hobby Lobby. The robes actually came from JoAnn Fabric. They were the flannel, and it's from their novelty collection. Now, unfortunately, I don't think they have the robe that I gave, or had, my son has. They don't have that fabric anymore, but I do still see the fabric for my husband for his robe online. As far as both pajama sets, I did get the fabric from Hobby Lobby, and both of them were on clearance. So I don't believe that they have any of this actually still in any of their stores. They might, but it's a high possibility that they don't. In terms of costs, so I wanted to make sure I had my numbers right for you. For the flannel, the flannel was pretty much $2.99 to $3.99 a yard for those, and for both of them I needed 5 yards of fabric, so we're talking $15 to $20 that I spent on each of their robes. Now, for the pajamas, for my son's, his was called Game On Navy, and I actually bought 6 yards of fabric at $3 a yard, so $18. However, I did have a little bit left over, so I'll kick that back to $16.50 that I spent on his pajamas. For my husband's, his again was still on clearance. It was a little more. It was $5 a yard, and I bought 5 yards. So his was $25. Oh, did I do the math right? Yeah, 6 times 3 is 18. Yeah, okay. And then for my husband, it was 5 times 5, so $25 I spent on his fabric. So I would say about $40-ish for both, for each, I should say, in terms of their robe as well as their pajama set in cost of fabric. Now, of course, they needed some elastic. I did use thread, and we're not even putting my time in this cost. But I figure, for gifts, that is a phenomenal price to be able to put together a robe, a top, pajama top, long sleeve, and some long bottoms. I'm not saying I should get an award, but I'm not saying that I should not get an award, greatest mom, greatest wife for 2023, because my last day of 2022 and my first days of 2023 was spent on making and completing these projects. So nope, they weren't, holiday gifts. It was just, this was something that I wanted to do for them. And because I am selfless and ended the year and began a year with them in mind, I need my tiara and my roses and my sash. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so let's get into what these robes and pajama sets actually look like. This fabric may still be in JoAnn's, and it's, okay, they both are really into comics and superheroes, and so I figured it would be perfect. This was awesome to be able to find these two fabrics for their robes for them to kind of just hang around the house in. So this is the first one, and I'll get that close so you can kind of see. So this is a flannel, again, on a black background, the white on the inside, but it's, a pretty long robe. I will say they're pretty true to size in terms of being generous, right? A robe usually isn't supposed to be fitting unless, it actually says that on the envelope. So, you'll have plenty of room, whatever size you make, and definitely look at the finished garment measurements. So make sure it's not swallowing the individual, but it is generous in terms of just having room, to wear pajamas or whatever you're going to wear under it. So this was my husband's flannel. And then here is my son's, which this is the one that they no longer have. Like, I went to, I think, 2 or 3 different JoAnn's trying to find this, and finally had enough fabric to actually put this together. So this is my son's. So I thought those were pretty cool. Now, as far as their pajama sets, I'll start with my son's. And he is a gamer like every child, and almost every child in America is. And so these are his pajama pants. And their little game consoles. Now, with these pants, I did not mention, but they do have pockets, so that's awesome. You know, again, it's front, back, pocket, waistband. 4 pattern pieces. Like I said, I think I said 19 steps, but that's because it has a fly. So here, let me show you what that fly on the inside looks like. Now, I did not do the snaps. I did everything up to the snaps, but not including the snaps. Now it is ready, so in case, I'll ask them, hey, do you want me to put the snaps in? And I can do that later if they want, or if it works just how it is, that's great. And then as far as the top, here's his top. And for the top, it does have a pocket on the front. So again, you have your front back sleeve pocket, and then you have front and back facings. So that was the game on from Hobby Lobby. For my husband, oh, I was so excited when I saw this, and I knew it was like, perfect, yes, done and done. So for him, they had and I'll start with the bottoms here. They had this Mandalorian print, and it was like, oh, that is so awesome. I thought it was really neat. Now the only thing is that I didn't have enough fabric to do the full sleeve and the full pants, and so we had to do just a bit of some color blocking. So I put just a small hem of just regular black cotton on the bottom here to make sure they were, long enough for him. So this was the Mandalorian bottoms, and then this was the Mandalorian top. And again, same issue, because I still wanted them to be long sleeved and, ankle or past ankle length. I did the band on the sleeve as well. And again, just V-neck, and it does have a pocket. Now, I really enjoyed working with both of these fabrics. I pre-washed the fabrics, and I will say that both of them came out looking as if they were still pre-washed. So that was great. The color seems pretty steadfast. Of course, flannel fabric, it will get knotty after a few washes, and I'm not so much worried about that. Robes you don't wash as often, right? Because you're wearing it usually over something. But it was good to see that the fabric itself for the pajamas stayed pretty true in color. So with that, that is my experience with Simplicity 1021. Let me know if you have this pattern, if you've sewn up this pattern, if you've made men's pajamas before. Leave that pattern in the comments below. This pattern should still be in the drawers at JoAnn. I believe it's still in the catalog, so it should still be in the drawers. Pick it up on the next sale. Again, a very good variety in terms of pattern or garment pieces that you're able to make up. And it seems to be a good size in terms of size span from that extra small to those extra large measurements. So thanks again for joining me. Let me know in the comments again what you think. Do you like these pattern of the fabric? Is there somebody in your family that's hardcore or die-hard comic fans? Have you used any other fabrics that are still out there and available that has this theme as well? Just let us all know. Tell us in the comments. So thanks so much for walking through life with me on this sewing journey, and I'll see you next time. Bye.